here with Anne George on the stage at the Palace Theatre in Paignton. And just tell us a little bit of background, because a lot of people in the area will know your name, and particularly your dad, Trevor, the famous agency, and some of the names that have been through the agency as well that people will be aware of.
Not forgetting my late mother, Billy. Billy and Trevor George were well known nationally, actually, because they were one of the first entertainment agencies in the country, and gradually it grew and grew. But they were responsible for the early careers of lots of even today's stars, Joe Pasquale being one. if you go to London theatres and you like that kind of thing, Gary Wilmot, he was another one. Michael Barrymore, Andrew O'Connor, who is actually the producer of the Derren Brown show, started with them. I mean, there are many name acts that they brought down. They brought down Charlie Chester, the Baron Knights, just about everyone really. Dave Allen, that's it. Yes, Dave Allen came down here. Tommy Trinder. I'm going back now, aren't I? But I remember them all as a kid, you know. It was a big thing really in our house, because you'd come home from school and there'd be people there juggling and throwing their voices and doing magic and singing, and so, you know, I was never going to be normal, because, you know, I thought that was normal.
You went to school the next day and said, guess who came for tea,
Yes,
and they wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe Pasquale, of all of them, is still a very, very close friend of my dad's 96 now, he still pops in to see him. So, yes, they were very well known in the industry, and responsible for a lot of careers.
Yeah, is that role still active today in the modern show business, or not so much?
Well, agency.
Yeah.
When my parents retired, that was 20 years ago, I took over the business. By then we got modern technology in place, and so with modern technology you could reach further. So they had been booking and producing shows in theatres up and down the coast. Suddenly I'm sending people onto cruise ships and all over the world, you know, and so it grew simply because there was the facility to do that, sending out, you know, videos online, etc. But
still very big business in a way, but diversified into the different venues, like say cruise ships and online.
Absolutely. But you know something? I mean, it was really successful. And I had a whale of a time with it. We became the largest independent agency in the country. But I still wanted to do magic and dance. So after 20 years of trying to do the odd little show as well as running this ridiculously large business, I just thought, no, I want to go where I'm true to my soul. And that all happened about 4 years ago. The business was moved on, somebody else now runs it, and I majored back into teaching dance and doing magic shows.
With the magic, is it a lot self-taught, or have you learned from some of the big names?
A lot of the big names. My father eventually gave in and obviously did teach me, but I had a lot of help from, of all people, Tommy Cooper. Because, you know, although he was a nutcase on stage, that was his persona, he was actually a brilliant magician.
For a trick to go wrong, you've got to know how to do it right in the first place.
Absolutely, yes. So no, I was very fortunate, and because I obviously was in that family, I met all of them, so I was able to pick people's brains. Inner magic circle people, all those kind of things. And straight theatre too. I trained as an actress and did a lot of drama. So I enjoyed every facet, really. Yeah.
And the show here next April, we'll be telling all those tales and more?
Yes, all those tales and more, about everything really that I've done. Well, not everything, you wouldn't want to know some of it. Whatever's clean, I'll be telling. Yes. But also, I do have some very comical stories about some of the star names that I work with. So hopefully people will find them as amusing as I did.
And as we know, you're still dancing as well. And
yes.
Doing everything, really.
Yeah, enjoying it.
Enjoying it. Brilliant. Best of luck with the show next year.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's great to be with you here at the virtual festival. I know many of you, and I think quite a few of you know me because we've done lots of different projects together, flash mobs and all sorts of mad, crazy things. Well, this year I was asked if I would have a chat with you about the other things that I've done and do in my life, because my background really is in the world of showbiz. So I thought it might be nice to just give you a synopsis, because it's only going to be a very short little bit about what I've done, what I do, and if you want to know more, I am doing a talk on April Fool's Day, the 1st of April, at the Palace Theatre. Anyway, so my name is Anne George. I've got lots of pseudo names. As a magician, my name is Anna Melina. If I'm doing magic for children, my name is Anna Banana. I've done lots and lots of theatres all over the country, working as a dancer, as a magician, even as a ventriloquist. I had a wonderful teacher, and I use ventriloquism a lot, actually, in my children's shows. I even used fire eating. But you may wonder how I ever got into all this nonsense. Well, it's very simple, really. I was incredibly lucky to be born to two wonderful, zany, eccentric parents. Perfect. And my mother was an actress living in London, my father a magician, and between the two of them, eventually they created this amazing mind-reading act. You've all heard of Derren Brown. Well, their mind-reading act evolved in the 50s, and it was that. They became nationally known, they televised a lot, and they were incredible. As well as that, they moved on to work with lots of other artists and form an international entertainment agency, which I later got involved with, and as they retired, took over. But when I was a small child, I was in this theatre all the time because my parents produced shows here. And I absolutely loved it. I'd sit at the back and watch the dancers and copy them, and the singers. I always wanted to be a singer as well. I wasn't so successful at that. As a dancer, great, they enrolled me at the age of 3, and I learnt dancing and then went on to join dance troupes, etc. As a singer, I had my few minutes of fame. My best friend from school and I wrote songs. We both like to write, actually, and performed them, again on this stage, and won the talent show at Children's Week. We were even originally looked at by Opportunity Knocks, but sadly in those days, because we were only 9 or 10, we weren't allowed to perform. So that was my singing career over. However, magic I always wanted to do. Now, my father had all these colourful things all around the house, and they were all magic props, and I'd seen him perform, I'd seen other magicians perform, and I said to him, Dad, please, I really want to be a magician. But in those days, and particularly because Dad was prominent within the International Brotherhood of Magicians, they wouldn't let the female sex in. On the basis, girls, that we can't keep a secret. What do you think to that? Absolute rubbish. Anyway, he wouldn't. And you know, I used to be taken to watch magicians perform. In fact, there was one in particular that I thought was amazing. I went to see this magician, and this was in Plymouth actually, and he did something that I've always wanted to do with a pack of cards. It was really something different. He just took a pack of cards, and from his cards he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and put the rest away into a tin. And then he took his 6 cards, and from those cards he counted 1, 2, 3 into the tin, counted them again, and to everyone's surprise, he still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left. Well, you know, I was amazed by this, so I went running round, knocked on the stage door until somebody let me in because I was making so much noise it was disturbing the show. And I said, excuse me, I want to be a magician. Please, can you talk to me about that lovely trick? You know, the one where you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. He said, oh yes, I know the one. I said, and then you counted, didn't you? 1, 2, 3 of those into the tin, and when you counted them again, I seem to remember you still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left. Well, tell me, how do you do it? He said, oh, it's really very, very simple. All you got to do is go to Woolworths. Do you remember Woolworths?
Yeah.
Yes, back in the day. Go to Woolworths, buy yourselves a pack of cards and stand in front of the mirror and practice. And this is what you do. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. I said, yes, I can do that. He said, and from your 6 cards, all you got to do is count 1, 2, 3 into the tin, and if you're lucky, you must be lucky, you should find that you've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards left. Well, that was it. I was off to Woolworths like a shot. Bought the cards, stood in front of the mirror like this, and started to count. Here we go, folks. I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and from my 6 cards I counted 1, 2, 3 into the tin, and sure enough I still had 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, something must have gone wrong. Oh well, if the magician can do it with 6, I can do it with 3, so I wasn't put off. I tried again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 cards, and I counted 1, 2, 3 into the tin. Do you know something? I never could do that trick. And still my dad wouldn't teach me magic, and then I had to take matters into my own hands. I was 13 years old and I was at school, and I was always, of course, prancing about dancing in the school concert, and they said, oh Anne, what are you going to do this year in the school concert? And I said, I'm going to do some magic. I didn't know a thing, but I knew that my mum and dad wouldn't let me down. They were very excited at the school. Oh, we're going to have a school magician. So I ran home and I said, guess what, Mum, Dad, I'm going to do magic in the school concert in 3 weeks' time. 3 weeks' time, said my dad. And because, of course, we're all very close as a family, they just couldn't let me lose face. So they taught me 4 tricks. A crash course in 3 weeks. And on the day, they crept into the back of the school hall. And because I was so excited and full of myself, I didn't have any stage nerves. It happens sometimes like that. And so I was there and I was doing this, making a paper hat out of 2 pieces of paper and disappearing ribbons and all this, that and the other. And I did it, and you know, they really enjoyed it. So I was excited. I said to Mum and Dad, what do you think? They said, well, you definitely got away with it. And of course, from that moment on, magic was my thing. Lucky breaks, all sorts of things happened then. I was booked to be a dancer in different theatre shows, and also I worked with Keith Fordyce. Do you remember him? On Treasure Hunt, and said, oh, I don't want to just stand there and look pretty, I want to do magic. And he let me do a magic trick. They let me do the odd magic trick, and eventually I was doing my own show, Big Box Illusions. I had girl assistants. We travelled everywhere, and we had a whale of a time. That's just a little bit about where I am and what I've done. But if you want to know some more about all the star performers that I've worked with, and believe you me, there's some funny stories associated with those, and a few other magical surprises perhaps, then why not come along on April Fool's Day and join me for a little bit more of magic and mystery and mayhem, as well as a nice cuppa afterwards. If you go onto the Palace Theatre website, palacetheatre.co.uk, the tickets are available there and you can book in advance, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.